You are standing outside at night. The air is still. The world is quiet. Above you, the sky stretches out like a dark ocean, scattered with small points of light. You've seen this before. Everyone has. It feels familiar, safe even. Those tiny lights, they look close, like you could reach up and touch them. But you can't, because even the nearest star beyond our sun is so far away that its light takes over 4 years to reach you. 4 years, just for light to cross that distance. Light, the fastest thing we know. And yet, what you are looking at right now is not just our galaxy. Somewhere in that sky, if you could find a perfectly dark place, far from city lights, you would see a faint, blurred smudge. Not bright, not dramatic, just a soft, ghostly patch. That smudge is the Andromeda galaxy. It looks small, almost nothing. But that small blur contains around 1 trillion stars, more than 10 times the number of stars in our own galaxy. Entire solar systems, worlds, possibly life, all compressed into something your eye can barely notice. And here's the part that quietly changes everything. That faint smudge is 2.5 million light years away. What you are seeing is ancient. The light leaving Andromeda began its journey before modern humans existed, before cities, before history as you know it. While early humans were just beginning to shape tools out of stone, those photons were already crossing the dark. They have been traveling ever since, unstopped, unseen, uncaring, until tonight. You are not just looking at a galaxy, you are looking into the past. Now imagine this. You decide to go there, not in imagination, not in theory, but in a real journey. A straight path through space, across that impossible distance, toward the center of Andromeda itself. A journey of 2.5 million light years. It sounds like a number, just a number. But numbers can lie, because when you turn that number into time, into distance, into something real, it stops being a number and becomes something else, something heavy, something almost impossible to understand. So, let's begin, right here, on Earth, and take the first step into a journey that will leave everything you know behind. Because by the time you reach the center of Andromeda, you won't recognize where you came from anymore. You start on Earth, a familiar place, oceans, cities, life in every direction. The entire history of humanity exists here, on this thin layer of rock and air wrapped around a small planet. It feels big. It isn't. If Earth were the size of a marble, the moon would be a small pebble, orbiting about a meter away. That distance, the space between Earth and the moon, is already far enough to fit every planet in our solar system lined up side by side. And yet, that's just the beginning. You leave Earth. Within minutes, the planet shrinks beneath you. Continents blur. Clouds become patterns. Then just color. Then nothing. Ahead of you is the sun. From Earth, it looks small enough to block with your thumb. But as you move closer, it grows and grows and keeps growing. The sun contains 99.8% of all the mass in the solar system. It could fit over 1 million Earths inside it. 1 million worlds. Gone. Now pull back again. Even the sun is just one star. You keep traveling outward, past Mars, past Jupiter, a gas giant so large that all the other planets could fit inside it, past Saturn, with its rings stretching hundreds of thousands of kilometers. And still, you are not even close to leaving the solar system. Here's the shock. If the distance from Earth to the Sun were 1 meter, Neptune, the farthest major planet, would be about 30 meters away. But the edge of the solar system, the region where the sun's influence fades, would be thousands of meters away, a vast emptiness. And then, finally, you leave it behind. The sun becomes just another bright point. Now you enter interstellar space. This is where the silence begins. The nearest star system, Proxima Centauri, is 4.24 light-years away. If you were traveling at the speed of the fastest spacecraft humans have ever built, it would take tens of thousands of years to get there. Tens of thousands, longer than recorded human history. And yet, in cosmic terms, that distance is nothing. You move faster now, faster than anything real, faster than light itself, just to make the journey possible in your mind. Stars begin to pass by, each one a sun, each one possibly surrounded by planets, some dead, some alive, most unknown. The Milky Way stretches around you, a vast spiral galaxy containing around 100 to 400 billion stars. You are inside it, and you can't even see its full shape. That's how big it is. Now comes the gut punch. If every star in the Milky Way were a grain of sand, the galaxy would be a beach stretching across entire continents. And you are smaller than a single grain. You keep moving, faster. The stars begin to thin. The structure of the galaxy becomes visible. Spiral arms curve like enormous rivers of light, stretching tens of thousands of light years across. You see it now, your home galaxy. And then, you leave it. The Milky Way shrinks behind you, becoming a glowing disk in the dark, a swirl of light containing everything humanity has ever known. And it fades. Ahead, there is almost nothing, just darkness and distance. This is intergalactic space. The space between galaxies is not filled with stars. It is mostly empty, vast, cold, and silent. You travel for thousands of years, then millions. Nothing changes, just darkness. This is where scale stops feeling real, because there is nothing to compare it to. Then, slowly, something appears, a faint glow. At first, it looks like a star. Then it grows and grows and grows. This is Andromeda. From far away, and it looks similar to the Milky Way, a spiral galaxy stretching over 220,000 light-years across, more than twice the diameter of our own galaxy. And it is getting closer. Here's another shock. Andromeda is moving toward us at about 110 kilometers per second. In about 4.5 billion years, it will collide with the Milky Way. Not a crash like cars on a road, but a slow gravitational dance, stars passing each other, galaxies merging over millions of years. The night sky of Earth, if Earth still exists, will be filled with light. But you keep going, closer now. The structure of Andromeda becomes clear. Billions upon billions of stars packed into glowing arms, dust clouds, nebulae, regions where new stars are being born. It is beautiful and overwhelming. You aim for the center, the core. This is where things change, because at the center of most large galaxies, there is something else, something you cannot see. A supermassive black hole. Andromeda's central black hole has a mass of about 100 million suns. 100 million, all compressed into a region smaller than our solar system. Gravity here is not gentle. It bends space itself. Light curves around it. Time slows. You move closer. Stars become more crowded. Distances shrink. The sky would be filled with light from every direction if you could stand here. But there is no standing here, only falling toward the center, toward something that does not let anything escape, not even light. And just before you reach it, you realize something. You have traveled 2.5 million light years. crossed the space between galaxies, left everything behind, and yet, this black hole is not the end, because beyond this, there is more, far more, and the question becomes impossible to ignore. If this is just one galaxy, then how many more are out there? You stop, not because the journey ends, but because something changes. You turn around. Behind you, Andromeda stretches out, a massive spiral of light, slowly rotating in the dark. At its core, the black hole waits in silence. Around it, stars orbit like dust caught in an invisible storm. And beyond that, there is space again, endless. You look further, and there it is, the Milky Way, smaller now, fainter, just another galaxy among many. Everything you have ever known, every person, every story, every moment, reduced to a distant glow. You could cover it with your fingertip, and then, even that disappears, because the truth is heavier than the journey. There are not just two galaxies, there are hundreds of billions, each one filled with stars, planets, possibilities. If you tried to count them one by one, at one galaxy per second, it would take thousands of years just to finish. And still, the universe would not notice, because it is bigger than that. The observable universe stretches about 93 billion light-years across, not because it is that old, but because space itself has expanded, stretching distances far beyond what seems possible. Galaxies are not sitting still. They are moving away from each other. The universe is growing, quietly, constantly. You feel it now. That weight, not fear, not exactly, something else. Perspective. Because here is the strange part. You made this journey. From a small planet, orbiting an average star, in a galaxy that is just one among billions, you are not at the center. You never were. And yet, you are here, aware of it, thinking about it. The universe does not care if you understand it, but you do, and that changes something. Because in all this vastness, all this silence, all this distance that stretches beyond imagination, there is something rare, something fragile, the ability to look up, to wonder, to ask questions that have no easy answers. You go back now, not physically, but in your mind, back across intergalactic space, back past the edge of the Milky Way, back through the spiral arms, past stars and planets and dust, back to the sun, back to Earth, back to where you started. The night sky looks the same, quiet, still, familiar, but it isn't the same anymore, because now you know that faint smudge in the sky is not small. It is a galaxy rushing toward us across an ocean of space, a galaxy you just crossed, a galaxy that holds more stars than you could ever count, and it is only one, just one. You stand there for a moment, looking up, and the universe says nothing. It doesn't need to, because the silence is the answer, and it has been there all along.